Croeso I sianel Blaid Llwyd. And there's Lyre, so it means we must be back with Lyre again. And I don't really have too much of an intro to do to this one, so let's just get back into the story where we left things last. We step outside and Lyre places his paw on my shoulder. We'll come back in a while to pick up my sword. No, that's out of the way. You can drop off that letter at the bakery while we wait. Sure, I think I see it over there. Oh, wait. We should get something to eat while we're there. I'll pay. My treat. Oh. Sure. I can pay for my own, though. It's fine. Okay, Mr. Moneybags. Says the one trying to buy me stuff. I'm buying, okay? Oh, okay. He seems to be pleased with that outcome. Oh, great. Let's go. I'm starving. We slowly make our way around the square and arrive at the door to the bakery. Lyle gets the door for me and holds it. The inside of the bakery is warm, just like the forge. It's very clean and cosy in here too. There's a small bar now sitting behind the counter dressed in an outfit covered in flour. She's surrounded by an array of baked goods. Weirdly shaped cookies, loaves of bread, pastries, cakes and pies. I see a shelf stacked with sacks of salt, flour and sugar for sale. There's more salt though, probably because it's really expensive. It smells wonderful in here too. I can smell stuff being freshly baked in the back. There's a raccoon couple sitting at one of the tables in the corner by a window. Lyle closes the door and we walk up to the counter. Hello, Charlotte. How are you doing today? Her black eyes beam back at Lyle as we step up to the counter. There's a sense of warmth about her. Her feathers even make her look like a seasoned loaf of bread. Oh, Lyle, I haven't seen you in a couple of years. You look so grown up. Oh, in a good way, right? Always. And who's your friend here? Well, this is Ifor. He's a lord from Erin. Hello. Oh my, the last time we had a lord in here was about 2 years ago. Well, what can I get you boys? Actually, I have a letter here for you. I place the letter on the counter and she slides it towards her with one of her gloves. This is for the goods you're preparing for the ball at the castle. If you take this to the banking guild and show it to them, then the crown will pay you in full for your services. Oh, thank you very much, Lord Ifor. I'm glad that all that hard work will pay off. John will be pleased to hear this. She tucks the letter under the counter. Now you might have been on the king's orders, but I know Lyle is here because of his stomach. Lyle is staring at the shelves with his tongue slightly hanging out. What can I get you to eat? I take a look at what's on the shelves and the counter. There's a really nice plate of pastries on the shelf with little labels. I'll have a slice of blueberry pie. I see Lyle turn and look at me from the corner of my eye. I'll have an almond cream tart. John? A rotund wolf with red fur leans in the doorway. He was working by the stove while we were talking. Yes, ma'am. You hear that? Yes, ma'am, I did. I'll get that out to you folks in a few. John sets down what he's doing and reaches up to a shelf to prepare a slice of pie. That'll be 8 copper pieces. Lyle reaches behind him and pulls a small sack from off of his belt. He reaches in and pulls out a shiny coin. Here's a silver. You can keep what's left. Oh, thank you. While Lyle paid, John came out and placed the orders on the counter. Well, thank you very much. Well, thanks, Charlotte. You're welcome. You both have a good rest of your day. You too. The pastry is the last bit of warmth left on my person once we go outside. The temperature has gone down a bit as the day has gone on. I take a bite of my food and it's more than I imagined it could be. The flaky crust tastes really good and the almonds add a very nice texture. It's amazing. I can hear Lyre next to me chowing down on his pie. It's bite-sized for him. He pinches and rubs the back of his head. I always have the best food. Do you like it? It's really good. I say this with my mouth full and I chuckle a bit. Oh, I'm glad you like it. Let's go sit by the fountain. Okay. We walk over to the fountain and sit on the ledge. Warm water particles bounce up onto us from the fountain, but I don't mind. Lyre moves his cape so he's not sitting on it and pulls out his dagger. I finish eating my food and stuff the paper into my coat. He's sitting there with a thoughtful look on his face while he twirls the dagger in his paw. I start to feel a bit tired and decide to lean against him a bit. It feels nice being this close to him. I feel him tense up a little. Oh, I can move over here if you want to lay down. No, this is fine. Oh, okay. I can feel him start to calm down, and after a while he leans into me too. His fur smells like coconut. It's a really strong scent. That would probably be one of those strange soaps from the bathroom. I don't remember seeing or smelling coconut in the bath though. It's nice though. It reminds me of home, where there's this nice bar with coconut-scented candles. I start to daydream about pressing my face into his warm embrace when I'm snapped out of it by him nudging me on the shoulder. Hey. You're freezing cold. He brushes one of his paw pads up against my forehead. You want to get my sword and head back to the castle? Yes, I think I'm ready to go. Okay. He helps me up and we start walking towards the forge. I am starting to feel a little bit too cold. I guess the warmth of the castle has been coddling me these past weeks. We enter the forge and Eden is standing at his anvil banging away at a piece of metal. I spot Lyle's longsword on the rack with the others. The wolf-head pommel stares back at me with an angry face. You can tell the sword is built for a big person, as it completely dwarfs the other longswords, making them look like short swords. Oh, welcome back, my friends. There she is, all sharp and ready for use. He's right. The blade of Ekrite is practically glowing in the firelight. When the light hits it just right, you can even see a bit of a swirl design. Oh, thanks, Ed. You really are the best. Oh, I know. I know you forget it. Just like you won't be forgetting the price. You're getting a discount, but it's not free. No, of course not. How much is it this time? Oh, 5. Alright then. Lyle pulls out his pouch again and sifts through it for 5 gold pieces. Here you go, Eden. He drops the pieces into his paw and Eden stuffs them into his apron. Oh, thank you very much, good sir. Lyle walks over the rack and picks up his sword, swinging it onto his back, sliding it into the sheath. Have a pleasant day. You too, old friend. We step outside and Lyle stretches, standing on his tiptoes. He lets out a big yawn, showing off his sharp teeth. Ready? Yes. Lyle leads me the alley where the tunnel back to the castle is. He opens the door and we go down the steps with him holding my hand. Once we got back, Lyle dropped me off in my room and had to leave to go do something. He said that he'd be back around sunset and if I wanted to go anywhere to make sure I stay safe and out of trouble. I showed him I'm perfectly capable of taking care of myself. He knows this, but just wants to make sure that I'm okay. What do I need to be afraid of? I decided to go for a walk down the halls and maybe try to find someone to talk to. As far as I know, I don't have anything else planned for the day, so I'm just trying to fill in the boredom. I hear some voices come to the hall after a while. Yes, I know that. Okay. Still, I just wanted to let you know that... I have to let him heal for at least a day. I understand I'm not an idiot. Of course, your highness. Once I turn the corner, I find it hard to keep a straight face. It's a very strange thing seeing Adrius without his horns. It's also hard not to notice. Like if I chopped off all of my hair. Prince Adrius. What on Tigran happened? What do you mean, what happened? I shed my antlers. Oh. Not entirely sure if that's a normal thing. Honestly, his answer just brings up more questions. I hear there's some species with horns will shed them, but I didn't think this is what that meant. So this is normal? Of course it's normal. It happens every winter. And I would have preferred you not see me this way. So don't go blabbing to your lackey about this like it's some sort of hilarious joke. After his outburst, he pushes past me, continuing to walk down the hallway. Your Highness, I wouldn't. Leif scuttles behind him, trying to get some last words in. Now remember, you need to rub that oil into your horns once every day, and they should grow back in no time. I can't see his face right now, but I'm pretty sure Adrius is rolling his eyes. Of course, I'm sure with how healthy they were, they will grow back even faster. Our friends always did have such beautiful horns. Over the back of my head, as I listen to Leif desperately trying to advise him. Adrius reaches the door to what I presume is his room. It's a large set of double doors with antler-shaped handles. And remember to... Adrius leans in the door of his room and pokes his head out. Thank you so much for your kind words of wisdom and compliments, Doctor. He says this in a very insincere tone. Goodbye. He shuts the door on Leif, causing him to reel. Padding off his robe, he lets out a sigh of defeat and starts walking towards me. Why is he always like that? What do you mean? Why is he so rude all the time? He takes a moment to think. Or choose his words wisely. It's probably because of all the expectations being weighed on him. He doesn't get a lot of time for himself. I don't know. He just seems very closed off. He hasn't opened to anyone in a very long time from what I've heard. Don't be so harsh on the poor lad. The sneaky cat approaches us while Leif jumps a bit. It's a large burden that he's been given. It is best we give him some space and treat him with respect. He pauses after this statement and holds out his paw, observing his claws. Sorry for interrupting your discussion. Oh, that's all right. Yes, but on that last note, respect goes both ways. He shakes his head in a disappointed way. Sadly, not in this profession. After this statement, he turns to Leif. Leif, was it? I was hoping I could get a moment alone to talk with Lord Ifor. Of course. I'll be going now. His taloned feet clack against the floor as he walks away. It was nice seeing you, Ifor. Take care. After he's gone, Kadaj nods his head to the right. Walk with me? Sure. His tail swishes back and forth as we mosey down the corridor. How's your time here been? Very good for the most part. It's been very accommodating. I've even made friends with the captain of the guard. Yes, Lyre Reed. The brave, shining knight. I have a feeling he doesn't like me much. Oh? He has difficulty opening up to people. That's not true, but I'd rather not tell Kadaj that Lyre doesn't trust him. I find that hard to believe. You've only been here for a few weeks, and he's become one of your dearest friends. Yes, I suppose he has. That reminds me. Are you planning on attending the ball? I was planning on going, yes. Put so much work in setting it up, they'd be ashamed to not go. Planning on bringing anyone? There are plenty of pretty ladies in court that you could ask. Or a gentleman, if you prefer that. I blush at the thought of going to a party with Lyre by my side. Yes, I suppose there are. It's okay, though. I still don't know who I will go with. I'll most likely end up deciding on the night it happens. He lets out a small chuckle and then stops walking to look out the window. Why were you sent here? What? Sorry if this seems out of nowhere. What does Aaron want from this exchange? What does he mean? I sent you for the same reason he was. Lyre was in need of advisors with the king. It was a simple trade deal. I sent you to help the king of Lyre with maintaining order for a hefty price. After I finish answering, he takes a moment to respond. He stares out one of the windows. As I had thought. I'm here as a diplomat too, but that was not the only task I was given. What was the other task? He pauses and looks at me with a very sincere look in his eyes. The kingdom of Driss is worried. They fear that Lyre is fallen out of touch with the rest of the kingdoms. Our cooperation goes on ever so smoothly, but our lands and connections are as separated as ever. He runs his paw on the windowsill, touching the flower with one of his claws. I was sent here as a diplomat, but my main objective will stay the same. I have been instructed to keep an eye on this kingdom and reconnect it with the others. I understand what he's saying now. You were sent here as a spy. He looks back at me with a confused glance, which then breaks into a warm expression. Do you think I am? Well, it's just... whether I am or not does not matter. A word of advice, Ifor. Trust your own judgment and rely on what you know. That's the only way you can get by in this line of work. What you know can help you in the end. He puts his paws behind his back and continues walking. It's okay to trust people, but never as much as you trust yourself. Now I have one more question for you. What is it? Where do your allegiances lie? Is this a trick question? Is he testing me? Whatever he's doing, I don't like it. The obvious answer would be Lyre. But something tells me that's not correct. I am loyal to the crown, but most of all I am loyal to Tigran. I can't get an exact read on his expression, but he seems pleased with my answer. You're smarter than most. Loyalty to Tigran is important, but you must not forget your dedication to those who matter. Why are you asking me these questions? I wanted to make sure I could trust you. I'll tell you this, I am not a spy. I am simply making sure that our kingdoms can work in tandem. Driss wants cooperation with Lyre, but we cannot do that without connections and relations. He stops walking and looks out the window to see the sun move closer and closer to where the mountains touch the sky. I fear that after this ball, things will be turning in an undesirable direction. What do you mean by that? There's a long silence before he speaks. Nothing. We shall cross that bridge once we get to it. There's a lot of work in store for us. He turns on his heel and slowly walks away. Oh, one more thing. What is it? You don't have to worry about the king finding out about this conversation. I won't say a word, and I'm sure you won't either, correct? I don't see a reason why I should say anything. Lord Kadaj hasn't done anything wrong necessarily. I'd even say he's doing his job better because of it. I agree that our kingdoms need to be more tightly connected if we want to ensure stability. I have no reason to say anything. He smirks back at me. That's good to hear. Because if you did, it would be unpleasant for both of us. And it would certainly make our jobs a lot harder. He says it with no malice in his voice. I think he means well. Oh, and if you were looking for the king, I saw him in the gardens. You'll want to go find him now, though. The sun will be setting soon. Well, thank you. Have a pleasant afternoon, Ifor. The same to you. My mind wanders back to that question. Where do your allegiances lie? I'm not sure if I answered that question truthfully. My allegiances lie with whomever I'm currently serving. It'll be the death of you. Like Kadaj said, I'll get to that bridge when I cross it. I just need to get through the rest of this week. I stroll through the courtyards and outdoor halls and make my way to the gardens. There's nobody here from what I can see, and the dying light of the sun casts a yellow hue over the grass. The pond is shimmering gold, and leaves look like flakes of brass. I take a seat on the tree stump that Lyle sat on, and stare into the water of the pond. My reflection is almost as clear as if I was staring into a mirror. A leaf falls onto the surface of the pond, and creates a ripple that distorts my image. Fuck. What was that? I just felt a searing pain surge through my head for a split second. I bend over, lowering my head closer to the pond, trying to gather my senses. Instead, I have this weird feeling rush over me. My eyes drift onto the path. It's an area that I haven't been to yet. It's enclosed by some walls and towers. Looks like it leads to a very thick patch of brush. The chilly air brushes up against my body. I really should have brought a cloak or something. Standing up, I walk around the edge of the pond and trail my hand along the side of the apricot tree. Leaning in the archway, I think to myself why I'm even going back here. It feels like I'm being forced. I try not to think about it and just blame it on curiosity. It's then that I realise I can hear talking. Muffled and distant, but it's definitely a voice. Pain, yes. I can't really make out a complete sentence. Hedges twist and turn. I find myself walking down a path that feels more like a hedge maze. After a minute of walking, the hedges start to fade out. I can see the rolling hills and mountains off in the distance. What I come upon next is a bit startling. Raynar is kneeling down in the grass, looking away from my general direction. He's in front of a tombstone with a dragon apricot sitting in its base. Lena. Every day I think about you. Things are never going to go back to the way they were. Oh my god. I need to leave. I don't think I'm welcome here. I go to walk back down the path, but as I turn I scuff my shoe on the path. Ifor? He says this without turning to look at me. His eyes still linger on the grave, shrouded by the light of the sunset. Yes, Your Majesty. How did you know it was me? He looks down to his knees and then answers. You're the only one here that wears shoes, Ifor. Oh yes, that would probably give it away. I'm sorry that you caught me here in this moment. That's okay, I should probably leave. No, please stay. He's speaking in a very sad voice, filled with agony. Do you know what happened? I just know that she died several years ago. Do you want to know? Finding a way to respond to this is difficult. My social skills were never exemplary to begin with. This situation's a bit too extreme. Still, I am curious. I feel like it would clear up some things. If you should tell me of your woes, I will listen. I can't even tell if he's breathing or not. The only thing that moves is his robe as it blows in the wind. Spoken like a man who chooses his words wisely. I've never opened up to anyone about this. He continues to sit there silently, barely moving. We're on our way back from visiting Triss 10 years ago. Little Adris was just 8 years old, looking after the castle for us. Of course, he had help from Sir Raynar. The trip went well, and we had many successful discussions with the lords and ladies of Triss. Our time with King Aaron went well too. He was a good friend of mine. Travelling back home was when it happened. Our entourage consisted of several guards and a few dozen soldiers. All of them were trained very well, and the guards were as honourable as they come. But honour only gets you so far in the field of battle. At twilight, we were traversing through the canyon pass when we were attacked. You've heard of the bandit problem, yes? Of course. It was much worse back then. An entire legion of brigands trained to kill. Our carts were sitting ducks. They came sliding down the sides of the canyon. They knew the terrain better than anyone. My soldiers were not farm boys who never swung a sword, however. They fought them off well. Well enough for us to get a chance to escape and ride ahead. Everything happened so fast, yet I can still remember it so vividly. The way Lena was gripping my wrist with her small but strong hands. The carriage careening down the path, hitting every bump in the road. A driver slumping over in his seat after getting an arrow through his chest. He inhales and exhales deeply through his nose and hunches over slightly. By the time the battle was over, and my soldiers had caught up to the cart, it was too late. She died in my arms with a dagger in her stomach. His voice is shaking. They killed her. She was good. She was kind. It should have been. Tears are streaming down his face. His words are sticking in his throat. He gathers himself and continues. Oh, when we'd arrived back at the castle and Adris found out, he locked himself in his room for weeks. I would sit on the ground outside of his bedroom door and try to talk with him. The amount of grief a murder caused me was unbearable, but I can't imagine how he felt. I see him take his cloak and wrap it around himself more tightly. Now those outlaws have made a resurgence, and I'm powerless. He finishes his story and sits there, staring at the sunset. This is a lot to take in. I don't really know how to respond. I don't get a chance, however. He stands up and slowly clears his throat and walks back down the path. I follow behind him, not wanting to be left there with all that information. Ifor. Yes, Raynar. I need you to be there for him. Once he becomes king. I need you to guide my son down the right path. A king without his advisors is like a brain with no conscience. He rubs his hands together. Can I trust you? Can I be trusted? Can I be there for him? At first the thought irks me, then I remember what Kadaj told me about stability earlier. This might be my chance. I can try. That is all I ask. I want him to be a better king than I was. I truly did let him down. Your Highness, don't say that. Oh, it's true. One day I'll explain why. He looks around and blinks his eyes a few times. I apologize for robbing you of a perfectly fine evening. It's quite all right. It was my fault for wandering back there. I find myself choosing my words wisely, like walking on eggshells. Yes, I suppose so. However, it was a simple mistake, and I don't fault you for it. He swiftly nods his head while wiping his eyes with his hands. I'll be going now. Please take care. Raynar? Yes, Ifor? It's not your fault. He closes his eyes in contemplation and responds, I wish it weren't. And with that, he leaves. I stand in the garden for a while longer, watching the sun dissipate behind the mountains. The cold starts to get me, so I head inside. I've been sitting at my desk for the past hour thinking about the events of this afternoon. And to think, this day started off so well. Now my mind can't stop racing. Actually, it feels completely blank. Like there's so much to think about, so my mind tries to think about all of it at once and it just shuts down. I really have been given a great task. And it most likely forced me to give up the thing I want most. Suddenly the door swings open, almost blowing out the candle on my desk. Lyle is slumped in the doorway and has a dazed look in his eyes. Hey, Ivor. Oh, he's drunk. Extremely drunk. Where have you been? Well, I was doing some business in my quarters. And then I went to Essel for some supper. My fellow guardsmen were playing drinking games. And He flops into the chair I was just sitting in. I won. His clothes are all tousled and his fur is a mess. I found myself speaking to him like one would to a child. Well, that's great, Lyle. How much did you drink, exactly? He takes a moment to think about his answer. How many mugs is too much? About 4? I probably drank about that much. That's really not good for you. I've lost my patience for everyone at this point, so all I can do is just rub my hands together awkwardly. The dresser with the rag and clean water catches my attention, so move over there to get a damp rag for him. You're really handsome, you know that? What? Thanks? My face is more red than ever before right now. I wring out the rag into the bowl and bring it over to Lyle. His head is now lolling to the side slightly. He can barely keep his eyes open. Humans are so pretty. And difficult. Lyle? He passed out. I dropped the rag back on the dresser and grabbed a blanket. I can't really be mad at him. He's such a great guy. What did he mean by that last part, though? Difficult. Lazily I tossed the blanket onto him and blow at the candles. I kick my shoes off my feet and fall into bed. I feel completely exhausted. Chapter 5, Day 19. Get that for safety. Coming down that slide, too. Well, it doesn't matter, just get out of here. Where's Lord Bryn? Him? No, you idiot. His car. Back there. I don't feel like myself. Everything hurts. I'm struggling to breathe for some reason. Did the wind get knocked out of me? I try to lift my arms, but they don't move. I can't move. Have I been paralyzed? No, I may not be able to move, but I can feel pain and tiredness. Debris and dust clutters my sinuses. I try to open my eyes, but as expected, that doesn't work either. I feel like an absolute mess. Don't remember I could have gotten into this situation. Am I reliving the avalanche? No, I don't think I am. It's too hot. Something isn't right. My entire body feels like it isn't my own. I have this urge to yell, but nothing comes out. Then there's my legs. They feel like they're being crushed. Feels like my feet aren't even there. There's a hopeful feeling, however, as I feel more awake by the minute. Am I asleep? Yes, it's just a dream. Nothing to worry about. I'm actually kind of glad. Usually I've never been able to realise when I'm in a dream. Something like that was very rare for me. I don't know how to wake up, though. The ringing in my ears slowly subsides. I can hear the rustling of leather in front of me. There's also the sound of struggling. I'd even try and my arms struggle to push myself up. There's something on top of me. I can't get out from underneath it. My eyes are tightly squinted. I'm not doing this. It's like I don't even have control. Am I even me? My eyes open and everything is blurred. It's like I just woke up. I'm laying on hard, rocky ground. There's splintered wood all over the place. After a minute gaining my senses, I look up and see two figures. I start to violently move around underneath the rubble and reach a hand out. This isn't my hand. It hurts a lot, and one of the fingers might be broken. Through the rips in the glove, I can see brown fur sticking out. What the hell is going on? My mouth moves, my own voice doesn't come out. Stop! Please! Raynar? I'm Raynar? No, I'm just dreaming that I'm Raynar. Then this is... Oh no. After being infatuated with my circumstances, I finally realise where I am. Queen Elena is unconscious, being held hostage by a figure in a ragged cloak. It looks like a lizard, but I can't see his face. Just his vibrant red eyes. He's got a jagged dagger raised and aimed to strike. The silks on the clothes are scuffed up and torn, and her face is scratched and bruised. She's covered in dust and chips of debris. Why would I do that? If you let her go and cease this attack, the kingdom of Lyre will take no action. Raynar's hand is trembling. I can feel all of his movements. His body is shaking and his chest is heaving. I can feel his tail pressed flat against his rear. The debris and wood from the carriage is laid on one of his antlers, so he can't move his head very well. This is very strange. No, this is terrifying. It's like I'm seeing through his eyes. It feels so real too. I find that hard to believe. I swear it. A dreadfully long silence falls on the area. It's broken by the sound of him raising the knife higher into the air. I didn't come here to make deals. I know what's coming and I wish I could close my eyes. No! It happens in an instant, but it feels like an eternity. I collapse underneath the rubble and fall apart. I hear his anguish as he lets out guttural screams of pain. I can feel the warm feeling of tears streaming down his face. Stop it, please! Let me help her! Raynar gathers his strength and begins to lift with all of his might. The carriage budges a bit, but it's not enough for him to get out from underneath it. You'll be with her soon enough. No! I can hear the bandit stepping closer. His footsteps stop. Damn. He runs away as I hear shouting on the right. Sounds like a large group of men running towards the cart. Several bandits are being chased and run by the carriage. Raynar's eyes are too teary to see. After a few seconds he lifts his head and opens them. Lyle? He was here? It's him, but he's younger. He looks to be 14, maybe younger. His fur is spotted on the face, almost like freckles, and his head fur is short and ruffled. He's wearing studded leather armour with the sun crest in the centre. His entire left side and sword is shimmering with crimson blood. Lyle may be young, but looks beaten and worn out. Boy, stay here. I can see his paw clenching around the handle of his sword. Oh, so close. No, Reed, we can handle this. Have the Queen and King. After that, return to Lord Britain. That's an order. Raynar turned to the soldier, speaking to Lyle. Go after him, now! He sounds absolutely infuriated. I can distinctly hear the sadness turn to rage. couple of soldiers run to Elena's side and begin tending to her. Some of the soldiers start to lift the broken carriage. Lyre looks down at Elena and then turns to me. Who did this? Oh my god. The right side of Lyle's face has been ripped vertically by a thick red gash. No, is this how he got it? Blood rushes down the side of his face and his eyes close shut. Raynar grunts that can feel the debris be lifted off of him. The bastard with the green scales and a dagger. Elena's stomach is soaked in blood that pools onto the ground. You can feel a massive weight lifted off of Raynar's legs as the wreck is raised higher. Help her, please! Lyre looks down to Elena again with a troubled look on his face. Here, get up. Get up. Once. Wake up! Ifor, wake up! Lyre is standing over my bed, shaking me by the shoulders. Ah! There's a worried look on his face. Seeing his groomed fur and adult features is a stark contrast to what I just seen. You're having a nightmare. It looked really bad. No, I wasn't. My entire back is coated in sweat and my face feels hot. My clothes are practically sticking to my body. That was no nightmare. That was... Lyre puts a palm to his head after my shouting fit. He's probably hungover from last night. My entire body is shaking as I look down at my hands. They're exactly how they usually are. You don't look so good. Did you catch a cold? Maybe going to town was a bad idea. I'll go and get Leif. No! I need to see Raynar. Why do you need to see him? I've been having very strange dreams and I need to talk to him, Lyre. Okay, but you can do that later. Right now you need to rest. Lyre, I don't have a cold. I'm fine. I need to see him. I slide out of bed and plant my feet on the ground. It's cold, so I grab the shoes I kicked off my feet last night. They're sitting in the corner of the room, one on top of the other. I adjust my coat and walk to the door. My hair is a mess, but I decide I won't be needing to pull it back. I stand in the doorway and look back at Lyre. He has a worried look of confliction on his face. I go through the doorway and begin to sprint down the hallway. And surprisingly, it's very cold out. I think I hear Lyre exit the door after me. It doesn't seem like he's chasing me down. I turn the corner and sprint towards the dining chambers. It's where he'd most likely be right about now. We've been using it as a place to hold meetings. He's been working there a lot. The other council room hasn't been used in a very long time, so they're still cleaning it out. What just happened? That dream was so vivid. I don't think it was a dream. Something is really wrong. It was like there were rules. The circumstances were so realistic and it was too well structured. I can feel the sweat running down the side of my head. I feel like an absolute mess. It doesn't feel like something I just imagined in my head. The events seem too real. I realize I'm practically shaking all over my body as I sprint down the echoing halls. Maybe it's just a nightmare? A coincidence? Please tell me it was all in my head. I reach the door and fling it open. Raynar! There he is, sitting at the table. His head jerks in my direction as I throw open the door. Oh, what's this? Sitting next to him is a woman I've never met before. Wait, a human? The only human I know is the guard under Lyle's command, but this isn't her. She's a bit shocked to see me burst into the room. Her expression turns to one of disgust. I don't care, though. It's important to me and I've been courteous for too long. It's driving me insane. Sorry, King Raynar. I walk over to the table and press my hands down on it, supporting my weight. Hello, Lord Ifor. What's the meaning of this chaotic entrance? Lyre leans to the door with a sheepish grin. Your Majesty? Lyre. Yes, we all know who we are. Really? Who's she? I point to the woman who's now standing up from a chair. A woman, Sir Raynar. Elizabeth Raynar. A pleasure. I try to get word into Raynar if she turns to him. Is this that ambassador you were telling me about? I'm guessing he's from Erin. Raynar? They both turned to me with shocked expressions. Lyle stepped into the room, raising his hands in a comforting manner. Yes, Ifor. Raynar's look of surprise changes to one of genuine concern. I take a deep breath and begin. Remember the talk we had last night? A searing burn works its way through my head. I almost collapse onto the table from the pain. I should support myself with my arms as I bring my hand to my head. Someone should get Leif. He isn't looking too good. No, I'm fine. I just need to know about last night. Ifor, this isn't the time to talk about that. Please, Raynar, you have to trust me. You said that you could remember every detail of that day, correct? He doesn't answer at first. My head is splitting open. Yes. I say the next sentence, tapping my finger on the table for emphasis. Who did it? There's a very long pause before he speaks. There's a look of curiosity on his face. It was a bandit. Yes, but what did he look like? Why do you need to know this? Please, you have to trust me. He looks down at the table. My head feels like it's going to crack like an egg. I hate to do this, but I have so many questions and very strange things are happening. Things I don't understand. We don't know the exact species, but he was a reptile. He was dressed in brown cloak, and he was carrying a wretched dagger. Oh my God. A razor-sharp pain shoots through my body, starting at my feet and ending at my head, causing me to arch and lean my head back, looking up. Ah! Ifor! I feel myself fall into someone's arms. And that seems like a good place to end it for now. What is going on? What has happened to Ifor? You'll find out in the next episode. Yes, that's been a slightly shorter one than I might normally do, but yeah, it's one of those days. So I'm going to do a little shorter video today. But don't worry, we'll return to Lyre before too long. And if you haven't read it, you can find out what was going on. But as I wrap up, as always, thanks to all my patrons and the donors on Ko-fi. I very much appreciate you. Especially with the summer coming, I have work to do around the house. And my top patrons are Marcus, Seven King, Monolay, Cindy Dragonwolf, Kopi, Spiderling, Grizz, Dissonance, Brandon Bradford, Nubis Silverwind, Ida Corval, Tiger Cub, Gunnar Muller, Ryan Hall, Bastion, Larkasketon, Besuksu, Copas Vissa, Kartek, and Burnt Toast. Special thanks to all of them for all of the help they give. So that is it for this week. There won't be a midweek video coming up. And for next weekend, well, surprisingly, it will actually be June by that point. Where is the year going? We're just about, 3.5 weeks off the summer solstice here. Or winter if you're in the southern hemisphere. And I can't wait to get past it because sunset at the moment is somewhere around 10 past 11 at night. And the sun's coming up before 4 a.m. Yeah, it's not a lot of fun. Anyway, enough of the seasons here. I don't actually know what it's going to be, and we might be returning to what happened in Australia before colonists. We might be going back to the Lands of Fire. I have to work up my schedule actually, so I will get on to that, and I will let you know by the time I upload this video what's going to be happening next weekend. But for now, thanks for watching. Bye for now.